Hello everyone, it's Ashwin Rao. If you've been watching my channel recently, you will know that I've had a growing fascination and enjoyment with engineering boots. Engineer boots are really the pinnacle of heritage footwear, certainly heritage boots in terms of design, fit, comfort, and challenge. This is often an end boot for many heritage clothing and footwear enthusiasts. And many of us who have started this journey are searching for essentially the perfect fit for us. And now why I bring up the perfect fit for us is because the perfect fit can vary from person to person based on their foot preferences and shape and a variety of other things that might go into play, such as the height of your instep, how much arch support you like, how wide your forefoot is, how wide or narrow your heel are, how big your calves are. There are many variables that could go into why a particular pair of engineer boots would fit you or not. And in fact, engineer boots are a little trickier because they're really slip-on boots, but they're meant to secure your foot comfortably. Now, if you were a railcar engineer, you would use these to protect your lower legs against hot coal back in the railcar days, but nowadays they're really used by either motorcyclists or enthusiasts such as me who enjoy the artistry of these boots. I'm gonna cut ahead and cut to the chase, and these are some of the best that you can find. This is from up-and-coming bootmaker Unsung House. This is their U-22 engineer boot. The U-22 engineer boot is one that has gained a lot of attention over the course of Unsung House's time producing boots. They started out as a boot repair company in Nashville, Tennessee, taking on different projects, and rapidly transitioned to making their own boots, their slog boots, which are kind of a military style service boot. And these engineers, they also do ropers and a few other styles, but their engineers have gotten a little bit more attention in recent months thanks to a wide range of posts, thanks to the fact that there are more of them out there as they are starting to ramp up their production. They also have a number of GMTOs and individual makeups, and this particular model of their U-22 engineer boot is one that was released probably about a year ago in a overdyed leather. This is a natural Latigo leather that was overdyed black. And what that means for most people is that the leather is not struck through, meaning that it is painted over with this black overdye. And as friction and wear happen, some of that black will fade away and reveal a brown undersurface coloring, which is the T-core effect. So effectively, this color, I believe, is the color that will eventually start to peek through when the black is wearing out. Now, Unsung has some really nice design cues and a fit that's a bit different than some of the other engineers that I've had. One, they have this really nice shaft that when I first saw this, I thought this was going to be quite generous because of this outward facing bulge. But if you actually look at this boot, this actually has one of the more narrow entry points. And while the pass-through in this area is pretty easy, meaning that your ability to get your foot into the shoe once you've entered the shaft, I found it a little bit more challenging to actually get my feet initially into the boots in the first place, up top along the collar. Once my feet were in, however, I actually undid this buckle to get that first part done. I was able to easily slip on my boot, and then these become one of the most comfortable form-fitting boots I have owned so far. So they have a cool, unique last. Jake, almost vintage style, drew some allusion to this last. This is not your typical round-toed last. This almost has a slightly squared off toe profile, which I actually really like because it has a little bit more of that Munson-esque aesthetic where it's squared off towards the toe, but then it has this gentle roll off along its outside edge here, or its lateral edge. And they do a really nice job shaping that last to the contours of most people's feet. So the Munson last was a military last developed by somebody who was very deeply involved in foot care and understanding feet, and therefore has stood the test of time as a last that many makers go back to or take and modify as their own. So it's my guess that they took that Munson last and modified it based on how this particular boot fits my foot. The boot has a reasonably medium to medium high instep, meaning for me that I'm comfortable being secured in this foot. It doesn't feel like it's compressing or irritating the top of my foot, but it also doesn't feel like it's sloppy at the top of my foot. Jake also mentioned in his view that the boot here provided no heel slip at all. What I will say is that from my experience, there's very little heel slip if you wear thicker socks. If you wear medium thickness socks, there's just a tiny bit of heel slip, at least from my standpoint. A little bit more heel slip than, say, the Zeros boots that I have, which I really love. As you can see, this particular model has a brown edge dressing, almost chestnut colored edge dressing, and then a Vibram 700 sole here and heel block. These are rubber half sole and heel blocks here. You can see they do an attempt to create a stitch pattern here, kind of rounded with this little edge here. A little bit of sloppiness right there, as well as a little knot, it feels like, kind of on the edge right here that will probably eventually wear down as I give it more wear. The stitching is slightly recessed, so it shouldn't wear out too fast. To me, this work is just okay. You can see some of the punch marks here in the Goodyear welting. It's almost like they had to redo the stitching right over here. But if you flip it over, you're going to see really clean work done on the outsole stitching from above. There's only one area right here where I see that similar thickening of the lacing, which corresponds to this here. So I'm not sure if they ran out of lace and had to redo a second lace to finish off the welt stitch or not, but it's just something I noticed on this pair. I did not notice it on this pair, so I think it's not a uniform property of these boots, but rather part of the production process. You can see how clean and high density this stitching is on this 270-degree flat welt. Few things that I really like about the design choices that Unsung, the lead boot maker there, I believe is Grant. He does this nice triple stitch along the heel counter and heel back leather piece here, and a really nice design here on the back heel stay with this peaked stitch with the squared off top, and then this more unique Unsung style stitching here. A few other pieces I wanted to mention is that they have that typical slope that you see from the outside edge to the inside edge on the top of the collar, but if you look and turn here, the collar actually has this nice kind of rounded profile to it, which I think is a really cool design choice. We see single rows of stitching above and below and a slight stiffener or roll along the top of that collar, and a rolled collar, meaning that they've taken that a separate piece of leather and created this roll with this nice dark brown profile. And then this flap here is in a more natural colored leather here. Is the stitching used to secure the buckles. Has this U shape to it, which I really like. It's an allusion to the brand. And then this unique stitch done on the side paneling that almost looks like a wing or something like that right over here, which is really nice design. So it kind of sets these Unsung boots apart from others. Just a beautiful looking boot, as you can see. The rolls forming are really nice on this cowhide leather and will continue to form. Just a very organic looking boot with the Cuban style heel, this nice cupping heel here, and then this rounded top of the shaft with that curve along the edge. Just really add to the organic flow of these boots, and it's what attracted me to Unsung in the first place. Here and here, typical standard buckles with the roller and adjustable straps with 5 punch outs. Really lovely pair, my friends. Unsung is definitely worth your attention. These boots cost around $1,600 or thereabouts. They do run GMTOs, which can drop the price slightly. I'm in on a GMTO, and yeah, I just wanted to give you a few looks at some of the other cool little details in terms of some of the stitch work done and the cleanliness and artistry of what you're seeing from true craftsmen, American-made footwear industry. Very exciting to see Unsung making a top-notch engineer, and I'm looking forward to telling you more about this boot as I go along. Hope you're all doing well. Take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.